All right. Hey, welcome,
Yes.
welcome back to Recovery for Life. Me and John and Audrey today, and we're talking about life getting bigger, growth and recovery. And you guys were talking, and I'm going to let you just go for it, and I'll join in when I can.
Yeah, I'll just jump in. This is talking about, living life now and sobriety, and almost 3 years sober now. I'm 3 months off the Sublocade shot, and my life has changed exponentially, and there's been a lot of changes, and going through those changes meant growth in my situation. And sometimes the changes can be scary and overwhelming. And I think that for me, I just try to take whatever problem or whatever I'm dealing with a moment at a time, or like how, cause like, for instance, I just bought a new home, and it's a beautiful home. It's nice. It's great. I'm very grateful for it, but it comes with a lot of responsibilities, and got well water, septic, all this stuff, ACs. And, I'm discovering things that are not quite right or need to be fixed. And then something else comes up, and then I have to chase people up. And I don't know, it seems overwhelming, because like I just want to be able to like get those people here and get it fixed right away. And that instant, gratification comes in, and I kind of have to take a step back and just say, all right, well, it happens when it happens. But there was a point where I was moving where it was just go, 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 like I had to pack, and then I moved, and I unpacked, and then I had to set up all of these things with the house. And I don't know, about a couple days ago, this happened over a 2 week period, the whole move. And move and unpacking and getting acquainted with my house, where I think I was like riding this like adrenaline rush or whatever. I don't know. I was just going, I don't think I took a moment to just stop and catch my breath. When it finally settled down, where I got to a point where I felt like I had done enough, or where I felt like I've done as much as I can at this point, it all hit me at once. Like, I woke up so sore and achy and tired, and my sleep was off, and I was just completely drained. Fortunately, it happened on a weekend. So I don't know. I think it was like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I went downstairs to watch TV, and I just like hit a wall, like I passed out. I don't typically take naps, but I woke up at 8:30 to my wife waking me up. She was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm just like, "Ugh." No, no. I was just so tired, just physically, mentally, emotionally drained from the whole experience. And I didn't get a chance to like, kind of soak it in, like this is like a big change in my life, where I'm now a homeowner, and it's presenting new opportunities where now I can start a family. And it's a lot to think about and process. And I just want to do these things and get them done. But there's this part of me that's like, I don't know, holding me back, because I'm just maybe pushing myself too much. And I need to like throttle it a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, I think that whole grounding yourself in the moment, and trying to just do your best at whatever it is. And I don't know, yeah, I'm not going to be able to do everything, in an instant, in a day. I'm going to have to rely on electricians and all these other people who have skills that I don't, to come help me. And I think that's a good analogy to sobriety, because I wouldn't be able to get to the place that I'm at today without the people that I have in my life and in my sober network that helped me get to where I am today. I don't think I'd be almost 3 years sober without my sober network. And it's really something to just, for me to think about and be grateful for. The problems I once had don't really align with the problems that I have now. The problems I have now are, sure, they may be a big deal to me now, but maybe in the past, like it would have been like, where am I going to get my next fix, or whatever? Am I going to get sick? Those problems were awful to me, and it wasn't really like living life. It was more of just awful. Now, in hindsight, when I was in active addiction, I didn't really I don't know. I didn't really have full control, or it really wasn't cognizant of what I was doing. I was just doing what I thought I needed to do to feel that get through the day, or just feel normal. What I thought was normal, and it wasn't normal. It was insanity, and it nearly killed me. So like, to be able to reflect on the problems I have now, which are like first world problems compared to what I was dealing with in my active addiction, I would take these problems over those any day. And I don't know. I think, just maybe I need to slow it down a little bit. We did do a lot. My wife and I did get a lot accomplished in a matter of 2 weeks, but we have the whole rest of our lives ahead of us. There's going to be plenty of time to get whatever it is fixed, and I just need to just remember to take care of myself. I think that's the important part. It's just making sure that I'm putting myself first, taking care of myself, making sure I'm staying sober and communicating with my sober network, and being honest and communicating how I feel, and just not hiding anything really, like, I could, make an excuse not to show up to a group or whatever. And I don't think I'd feel good about that. And I don't do that, but that's just an example of like, kind of escaping what I should be doing. And to me, that wouldn't be right. And I try to just do my best every day. And I do show up for myself, because I do want to stay sober. And I think that life's short, and, we're presented with, or I'm presented with whatever comes my way, and I have to handle it in whatever way I can. And if I have to get other people to help me with that, then so be it. Kind of where I'm at right now. It's just trying to figure out this balance of life and making sure I'm taking care of myself, where I'm not burning myself out to the point where I'm passing out on the couch at 5 p.m. That makes sense.
Yeah, I feel that like need for balance, but like I do realize that balance doesn't come easy. It takes time to find balance. Like you'll feel balanced at some points and then less balanced at others when things happen in your life. Like I got a new job a month ago now, which is crazy to say. But the first few weeks when I was there, I just kind of like, I don't know, it was a huge schedule shift for one. Like I couldn't just wake up at 11 and go to bed at 2 a.m. and like do whatever I wanted to all day. I had to like my first day at work, I woke up at 5 a.m. and caught a train to the city. And ever since that first day of work, I haven't been sleeping much, and have been just trying to get used to like commuting to the city a few days a week and then going back home and getting really late, or getting home really late. And I just feel like I was so excited about the job like the first few weeks, and just like wanted to put my 100,000, 10% into everything, like even going to see friends and like in the city, and just not giving myself a break. And then I started like falling asleep when I was in groups, and I was like, that was the point when I started hitting like a burnout mode, and all the no sleep was catching up to me, and just like being kind of like not really on edge, but like just kind of like over adrenaline. That's how I felt. Over adrenalinized.
That's a
I
word.
think. Yeah.
Now it's a word.
Now it's a word. Over adrenalinized. That's it. But it's at those points where like I was really high, and now I'm like coming out of being low, as in like just exhausted and like catching up on sleep basically, and sick. And I feel like once I come out of this lull here, I will be able to reintroduce some balance into my life, start going back to groups, and just focus on what keeps me stable and feeling stable, and like I'm not up and down so much. And I know that like big changes come with like, that was a very big change in my life, going from not having a job to having a job in the city that I have to commute to, and like learning all these new things and having to stay with my friend, which I'm very grateful for. She's letting me stay with her. But just like not having like my own place is kind of an adjustment, and it's definitely an adjustment for her. But that's all to say that I'm happy that I threw myself into this big change, because I was very scared at first, like scared that this would be a rupture in my life, like I was almost afraid of knowing that I would have to not have to do anything, but like knowing that things would change was just scaring me. And like I was trying to plan ahead and like figure out how I would communicate in an office with people, even though I couldn't see into the future, and like didn't know what anyone would be like. Like I don't really know how to describe that kind of future thinking, anxiety thinking. But I was just really afraid of a change, and I ended up being able to handle it, and maybe with some bumpy times. Like I was afraid of getting burnt out, and like being able to adjust to a new schedule. I was really afraid that like I wouldn't keep working out. For example, like when I didn't have a job, I worked out a lot, like 3 to 4 times a week or more than that. And I have only worked out like twice since I've gotten this job, but I know that I just need to like reintroduce balance into my life after getting used to something, or like it takes time to get used to a new system, I think. So nothing is always going to be really completely balanced, and I think that's okay.
It makes sense. It's a big disruption, this big change, commuting. It's a long commute. It's a couple hours, right, to get into town, I think, from where you are, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, it's like 30 minutes to the train station, and then
Yeah,
almost 2 hours to the train.
yeah, it's a lot. I did that for a long time too, and it's hard. It's hard to make that commute. I used to do it every day. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I can't imagine doing that every day. I'm so
Yeah,
happy I can like stay somewhere for
yeah. But I
a
mean,
few
like
things.
what you guys are talking about is, the fear is what gets us, the fear of change, and then anxiety that gets produced from projecting. What's going to happen. What's the future going to look like? Trying to predict it, and that causes a lot of anxiety because you're right. I don't know what's going to happen in the next 3 minutes, and I can't really worry about it too much. And it's hard not to.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like almost like a lack of control of what is going to come next.
Yeah.
I don't know. You brought up a lot of good points, Audrey. I mean, for me, I'm also like adjusting to a new commuting schedule because I'm in a different home, and actually adjusting to sleeping in a new home, right? Because even that is a change that, or at least for me, I don't know if anybody else has experienced this, but I don't know. Let's say I was at the townhouse sleeping for 6 months, fine. And then now I'm in a new environment and sleeping I may be in the same bed, but it's a different environment. And I don't know. It's kind of, I need to get acquainted to it and adjusted to it. And,
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, it did take like a few days, maybe a week for that to take effect. But, yeah, I was definitely, scared, but also excited to be moving to our new home, that we bought. But I wasn't even thinking about how much I was pushing myself. Like I didn't even consider it. And I was just going, go, like, all right, move this, move that, get this set up, whatever it was, I was just doing it. Just doing it and doing it, doing it. And I think that like harkens back to like how I used to be as an addict. And I kind of need to just make sure that, I'm not continually doing that, which, thankfully, I'm not, but, it made me think about it, right? Like that was like some unusual behavior on my behalf. Cause I think it was a bit of OCD really, at the end of the day, like, cause like I felt like things weren't in their place, and things weren't the way I wanted them to be. And I don't know, it was really bothering me. That really took a toll on me. I think that I just need to take a step back and just reevaluate how I approach things like that in the future. Like, especially if I'm going to be having a kid, I can't burn myself out, and I need to be making sure I'm taking care of a child. Like, I don't know how it's going to be, but we'll find out hopefully. But yeah, no, I don't know. For me, I think that just reestablishing like my schedule after a big change, like, so that it does feel right. Like, I did miss the gym for a whole week, and I felt like crap, because I had moved. I was all bruised up and scratched up from
Wow.
moving and stuff, and I was just so sore and tired. I couldn't go to the gym, and I finally got back to the
Yeah.
gym this week, and as tired as I was, I did take it easy at the gym, but I did feel good afterwards, and that was encouraging. But getting a healthy routine back in place in my life right now is crucial, I think. And I got an email from my work saying that starting September 5th, I need to be in the office 4 times a week, which
What?
is, yeah,
No.
yeah.
Well, I'm in there 3 times a week, but for you, that's like going from not being there to being there every day, basically.
Basically, yeah. I go maybe once or twice a week now, and it's a 15-minute ride to the train station. It's a 70-minute train ride in, 10-minute walk to the
It's not
office.
nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I mean,
that's a good amount of commuting time.
so I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't get home till 6:30, 7 o'clock. I mean, it's a long
Yeah.
day. And then I got to do that 4 times a week. But then I think back to, like, pre-pandemic, people did that, that was
Right.
like,
That's right. It was the
that
norm.
was normal. That was the
That was
norm.
normal. Right.
Um,
We've gotten a little bit I don't know, complacent here, being able to work from home. And I'm home all the time. I work from home mostly. I have a 1 day a week where I actually go to work now. But yeah, and I used to do that crazy commute schedule. Even when I lived in the city, my commute was 45 minutes, or an hour, just to get on the subway and just deal with that every day. Um, and when I was upstate, it was close to 3 hours each way,
Yeah.
which was really ridiculous. But people did it, from that train station too. So yeah, I mean, it's our mindset of, I shouldn't have to do this because nobody does this anymore, right? But I don't know, they're making us come back. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I was thinking too, John, when you were talking about the bed thing. I had an interesting day too. I went back to one of my old AA meetings locally here, which has been a long time, and I needed to get back to some live meetings. So I went up the street here. It's really close, which is kind of crazy that I don't go there all the time. But when I came back, all I did, I needed to make some changes in my little house here, and I rotated my bed 90 degrees in the room, right? So just to make a change, right? And I was thinking while I was doing it, I wonder if I'm going to be able to sleep, because I have a little bit of OCD
Yeah.
too. Like, this
Yeah.
is going to be a different angle. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep
Yeah.
tonight, right? And I didn't do anything. I just turned it 90 degrees. It's the same room, right? The same stuff in there, but I'm a little worried about it, honestly. It'll
don't know
take
if
a little
anyone
getting
has-
used to.
I don't know if anyone has this, but like I can't normally sleep with my back to my door.
yeah,
Is that a thing for anyone? Because I'm like,
same.
it makes me feel like someone's gonna be like,
I feel like somebody's gonna come up on me, right? Like,
Yeah,
I
like, what
definitely
is
need to
that?
be. I need to see the door. I got to.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny. So yeah, I guess we all, I don't know if that comes with the territory of addiction or what, but a little bit of that, there is a little fear of change and a little nervousness about any small changes that are made. It's
Mhm.
interesting. I have that too. I worry about that. And, it took me a long time. I mean, you guys are talking about a few years in recovery and starting to get back, buying houses, things like that. I mean, I was, I think 7 or 8 years before I was really starting to get back on my feet. It was a long process for me. It continues to be. I mean, I don't have anything. I have a little rental house that I have, and I have a car again, which I didn't have for 6 years. But I don't have stuff. I don't have things, and I don't think that I'm going to get back to that anytime because I don't know. I don't have that. That doesn't hold the appeal for me anymore. Or maybe it was just so painful first time around, with the foreclosure and everything that I just don't want to get back into that.
That
But
makes
I
sense.
wasn't sober, when
Yeah.
I did all of that, right? So, it was destined to failure.
I mean, for me, I have stuff, but it's all materialistic things. I've lost all my things as well, and they come back. I mean, if you're sober and you put effort into it, right? But the point being is like, as long as I'm alive, I will be able to acquire materialistic things again. But for me, I think what I wanted to say was, my goodness, it just escaped me. What were we talking about?
Changing little small things like the sleeping in your room,
Yeah, shoot,
commuting.
no, we'll come back to it. I had something to say, to piggyback off Chris, but it just freaking slipped my mind.
And by the way, contrary to my background, I do not own any camels.
Oh,
I
I remember.
have not bought camels. I don't live.
You
There we
know,
go.
I don't own this samurai sword, wielding dogo, but I wanted to. This is what I wanted to say. It was about friendships. So, like for you, maybe the materialistic thing doesn't matter much or whatever. For me, I'm terrified to have friends in my life. The only friend I have is my wife.
Aw.
And I don't know. I don't know. I feel like the friendships I had weren't really friendships. They're more of acquaintances or just drug using. I don't know. I never really felt like I had a true friend or anything like that. And I felt like
We're your true friends,
Thank you.
but you need more than us.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, somebody here where I can hang out locally with or whatever. But
It's a really good point.
like, but I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm actually scared to put in the effort to a friendship because I don't want what happened previously to happen again. Maybe it's just some subconscious fear.
With friendship comes vulnerability.
Mm.
And there's a fear of that. I mean, one of the reasons I went out to the meeting today is because I just moved here 3 years ago during the pandemic. So I don't know a soul here except for my sister up the road. And so, there's a lot of friendships to be made. There's a huge sober network here. And I haven't really been reaching out. So that was the other reason I went out. And I happened to run into one of the guys from the meeting I went for a walk earlier. He subscribed to the channel. So that was cool.
Aw.
And, we had a little chat. He's newly sober. So it was good to talk. And, I went to one meeting, maybe made a friend today. I don't know. But we were able to have a conversation. And that was nice, and the new work environment may bring some friendships as well. So, I had to get out into the mix, right? Isolating is part of what we do in addiction. And it's easy to do in recovery too. Pretty easy to do just to, hide from the world and say, I'm good, and especially now we can do Zoom meetings, right? We don't have to go out to these in-person meetings. We don't have to do our groups in person and we can just be at home, right? And never actually physically interact with another human. So, it's pretty important to get back out into the world and try to make those friendships and be vulnerable.
Yeah, I definitely need to do that. You bring up an interesting point, and my wife and I were actually discussing this last night. Something that changed our life tremendously was the internet, right? Like, if I were to ask my parents, like, hey, what were a few things that happened, in inventions that changed your life significantly? I don't know what they would tell me. Maybe I don't,
Color TV.
color TV or whatever.
Cell phones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the internet was a super huge thing, right? Like, at least for me and my wife and our generation, like there was a time where we didn't have that, where we actually had to go out and
Yeah,
make
right.
friends, ride our bike around the neighborhood and make friends, right? Like, I don't know.
Yes,
Um,
that's right.
I
but
grew
yeah,
up on the internet.
See, yeah, I mean, that's like similar to like my niece who's gonna be 14. I mean, she virtually grew up on a tablet. I mean, like, they had to open apps and get to photos and at 2 years old. Like, it's crazy.
No, that wasn't me. But like in middle school, I feel like I was like definitely a MySpace kid. Like I remember YouTube coming out, so we would watch all these weird cat videos. This is an aside, but like as far as friendships go, like I remember, like I think a lot of people and like even me at some point like would resort when I was younger and even in active addiction, I would resort to like talking to people on the internet or like talking to my friends only on text message and like not in person. So like that's an issue that brings up too. Like you need human to human interaction, I think.
Yeah. All of this, gives us that ability to isolate and hide, right? Hide behind the screen. And it's tough. The pandemic, obviously exacerbated all of this because we had to hide out for a little while. And that's when all of the 12-step meetings blossomed online. And a lot of the people who started going to those just kept going to them and didn't go back to the live meetings. Fortunately, when I was in New York a couple of weeks ago, most of the meetings I used to go to are back live and looks like the same crowds. I ran into the same people that I used to see years and years ago. So that was good to see, but there's a lot that are still just online and people are just hanging out at home and not interacting with others. But, I think that's, for the sober community, it's really important to have that human interaction and to have those sober relationships and being able to sit next to somebody in a recovery room and feel the energy uh, is really important. It is to me anyway. I think it's, because that's how I got sober. Right? I mean, there were no Zoom meetings when I got sober. There weren't any. And there are people who got sober during the pandemic who have never been to a live meeting, right? There's that. And that can be really intimidating. My first meeting I went to, it was almost 20 years ago. That was incredibly intimidating to walk into a room of AA, for the very, very first time. It's like I was terrified. So I know I get it. And it's really easy to just push the button and not even have your video on, right? You don't even have to do that. So, it's different, but it's not. I think it's important to make those friendships. It's important to touch people, to be able to hug them, say everything's going to be okay, and be in that space, and it is frightening to be that vulnerable because we're exposing ourselves when we do that.
Yeah. A hug is something very special. Like, I don't know. There's something I think, I don't know. I think when I hug my family or my wife, it's just, maybe it's just like a human instinctual thing or I don't know. I feel just very connected and happy, like it's like an embrace of love, unconditional love,
That was a scary thing during and post pandemic too.
Yeah.
How do you, can I touch people? Yeah. I'm going to get sick if I touch you,
Yeah.
scary stuff.
And some people are still in that headspace,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can't blame them. I mean, it was
No.
a scary time. It's been
Yeah.
a scary time in our lives.
It's
Anyway,
still
well,
scary. People are getting long COVID and like
Mhm.
it's so bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's still
Yeah.
happening. I mean, it hasn't gone anywhere, right? It's still here. We're just kind of going about our lives now and hugging and touching and shaking hands and doing all the things that we used to do. And, I'm kind of over that fear. And if I get sick, I get sick, but I don't want to be isolated anymore.
Yeah, I feel that. Like I kind of rarely even hear people, saying they have COVID now. But matter of fact, my wife's mother got she's in Michigan, but she got COVID, and I was like, "What? Really?" Like I hadn't heard that in almost a year. I'm like, "Wow, really? I thought it went away. I don't know, but it's still here. It's still here."
Every time I sneeze, I run out and buy another kit. Or a cough. It's like, oh, I better go get a COVID test kit.
We went out to lunch today, and we were waiting for a seat, and this kid walked by and just coughed on me, and I'm like,
Ew.
I was like,
Kids.
oh, dude, oh, like easy, like, but like I don't think I would. Maybe I don't know. Like my response might have been different if it was like pre-pandemic. I don't know.
Probably would have been a little different.
Yeah.
We're a little hyper aware still of of all of this, but despite that, I mean, the fact remains that certainly in recovery and humans in general, we're social animals.
Mhm.
We need human contact, and especially in recovery, it's so important to get that energy from other people, who get you, who understand what's going on and where you are, and all of these fears that we talk about, and who have been through it, because it's, nobody's different, right? We've all been in different stages of recovery and regained things and moved on in different directions. Sometimes we're getting things back and sometimes we're not. Sometimes we're moving forward and doing things differently. It's an opportunity for change. Recovery is a wonderful opportunity to assess what our true values are and what we really believe in and all of those things. And it's good to have somebody to bounce those off of, right? Because we don't live in a vacuum. So I think, how do I want to live my life? Let me see how this other sober person has managed, to get to their next level. It's good to have. Anyway, what do you think? Should we wrap? Should we
Yeah.
do some gratitude and wrap? I think this was fun, actually, between the
That was
two of
good.
us. It was good. So let's do gratitude and close it out. Another one in the can.
Sure. I'll start off. Grateful for this podcast today and the discussion we had. I'm grateful for Chris and Audrey and our listeners. Grateful for my wife, my family, the roof over my head, my sobriety, and my health, and just another day alive and sober.
Nice. But you, Audrey?
I am so grateful to see you both. I'm grateful that we can just talk about things, and grateful to our listeners. Grateful that I'm starting to feel a little bit better, and excited to come back to groups. I'm also grateful for my office being so close to Koreatown because I get to have fun Korean food every day.
Nice.
Very cool. Well, I'm grateful to both of you for being here today. Who knows what we're putting out there into the world and who's listening, and hopefully we can help another human being. But I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to do that. And like you, to be just walking the earth today. And, I'm grateful for this Solano Club up the street where people gather all day long every day. There's meetings up there all day. And I just got to get my rear end over there and be part of it instead of hiding out. So I'm grateful that that's there. And all of the other groups in the world, that are there for anyone who wants to walk in the door. That is it. So thanks to you guys. Thanks to our listeners. Click your like and subscribe while you're out there listening. And we will see y'all next time around.
Thanks all. Yep.